A man made a mean joke to a woman, and she was so offended, so very offended, that she set him on fire. Yeah, that was a thing. Now, I know you often hear about men doing horrifically violent things, and men do that, and it's terrible that they do that. And whenever that happens, you see this big media beat up about how bad men are as a whole and all the things that we all need to change because of some horrible human being. But here's the thing. When a woman is the perpetrator of the violence, you never see the media up in arms demanding action against violent women or demanding someone deals with toxic femininity. That never happens. This story is so full on, and the longer it goes, the more insane it gets. But still, what blew my mind is that no one gave a shit. If the genders had been swapped, it would have been a mainstream story, but not in this case. It's funny, you know, whenever you see a man do something horrible, it's always this catch cry of, well, it's toxic masculinity to blame. We need to blame Andrew Tate and people like Andrew Tate, the gateway to the alt-right and incel culture and all this shit. Who do we blame when women do horrible things? I'll tell you who. We blame men again. We blame Andrew Tate again. We blame the right-wing men, all that type of shit, because they're the ones who made her get to that point, which is crazy. Regardless of who is at fault and regardless of their sex, they are to blame. They're the fucking psychos. I'm not trying to hide from the fact that a lot of men commit violent crimes. I'm just merely saying that maybe when women do the exact same thing, we should look at the violent rhetoric coming from a lot of misandry-loving, men-hating creatures that exist on the internet. But here's the story. A woman has doused a, quote, lifelong friend. Wow. I guess you never really know people. Douse them in petrol or gasoline, wherever you're from in the world, and set him alight. She had been angered by a sexist comment, a court had been told. Now, if you reverse the roles and you said that, well, it's what she said, that's why he threw the petrol on her, people would be blowing up. They would be so angry. But no, because it's the roles are reversed, who gives a shit? In this article, we have to ask the question, are you blaming the dude who got set on fire for getting set on fire? What the fuck? I don't give a fuck how sexist someone was or how rude someone was or how offended you are. Don't light people on fire, dickhead. Corby, shit name, Jean Walpool, previously pleaded guilty to a single count of burning or maiming by corrosive fluid, which is the Queen's courtroom English for throwing fucking petrol on some poor prick and lighting him on fire. Okay, so she's pleaded guilty. So she said, I did it. Now, was she just fucking around? Was it a joke? Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but we all did stupid shit when we were younger, like the aerosol deodorant cans. You'd light a fucking, not that I'd ever do this and don't do this at home, but you'd like a flamethrower, right? You'd chase people around. Maybe that's what was happening here. Probably not, but maybe. Let's find out. I guess maybe I'm thinking it's like punching a friend in the arm when they say something, you know, like you just like, oh, gut it out. But she went, poured the petrol on and lit him on fire and said, stop it. Oh, you silly bastard. Stop it. I'm going to light you on fire. Now, am I saying that punching someone in the arm is similar to lighting someone on fire? I mean, it depends how good your punch is, I guess. But I'm not a brave, independent woman, so I can't comment. Good on you, girl. You go, girl. Wow, so brave. Oh, my God. I think what's absolutely insane about this is actually looking at the woman in question. Like, look at her. She looks like a regular person. That fucking nutcase lit someone on fire. So obviously, gents, the line has been drawn in the sand. If you say something, oh, we haven't even covered what he said. Now wait until you hear what he said. It was proper sexist. It was like, mate, if anyone said that to me, the only course of action is fucking lighting them on fucking fire. That's the only course of action. Apparently that's what happened with Joan of Arc. Apparently she just said something sexist to someone. They had to fucking light. Did she get lit at the stake? Yes, she was convicted of hearsay by the English and French collaborators. And by hearsay, they mean sexist comments. Ugh. The young woman hosted the victim, Jake Loader, at her home in how long? How long do you set me on fire, you crazy bitch? They and other friends had been partying through the night and returned to the home at about 5 a.m. to continue drinking. Go to bed, you fucking lunatics. Now, much of the group was heavily intoxicated, and Walpole had also consumed cocaine, you dirty bitch. Now, usually when you've done a bit of cocaine, you want to talk about businesses, and I want to give props to this young lady because she obviously wants to work in the petroleum field alongside ExxonMobil and British Petroleum and stuff like that. So that's really good to see a brave young woman stepping up into a world dominated by men. So good fucking on her. So proud, Corby. Well done. She said that Mr. Loader had been antagonistic during the night. Oh, good way to fucking victim blame, you dogs. At one point attempting to wrestle her. Oh, well, light on fire then, he deserved it. At another point, he tried to wrestle her sleeping boyfriend. Throw him off a bridge. But here's the kicker. Here's what he said. The straw that broke this camel's back. I was feeling overwhelmed by his presence. Ooh, he's the fucking conjuring ghost, is he? And I didn't know what to do, she said in court, according to the ABC. Quick, take your ADHD meds. You'll be fine. She said her rage peaked when Mr. Loader told her to stay in the kitchen making scones where she belonged instead of going out drinking with the boys. Now, the stay in the kitchen making scones is the only part in quotes there, so I imagine the rest of that is just sort of paraphrasing. So this fucking legend said to her, go back in the kitchen and make some scones. Good on you, dude. I'm only saying that's funny because of what she did next. I wouldn't say that to a lady unless it was funny. Maybe it was all laughs. I don't know. And she just fucking lost the plot. Anyway, I think we should name him the king of us big men. I think that's what we need to do from this. At that point, she went to the garage and returned with a 5-litre container of petrol. Fuck. At what point does this become attempted murder, by the way? I'd like to know that. She poured it over Mr. Loader, waved her lighter around before he teased her again. Yeah. Saying, go on, do it. And then Walpole set him alight. All right. Hot tip, Mr. Loader. No pun intended. If someone's covered you in petrol, don't antagonize them when they have a lighter in their fucking hand. Probably not a great move. At that point, you usually just go, all right, you psycho, fucking, I'm going to leave. Fuck, 55% of Mr. Loader's body was burned before he was placed in an induced coma for 8 days. She should be fucking in jail for the rest of her life. He spent another 74 days in Prince Alfred's Hospital burn unit in Melbourne where he underwent 10 surgeries. So this is fucking serious. I hope you're okay, mate, if you're watching this. You're a legend. Here's your crown. You dropped it. And on top of all that, obviously physical scarring, but the mental scarring as well. That's got to do a lot of damage to someone. The impact on his career, all that type of shit. Fuck. Peter Neal, which was a solicitor in the case, said that his client was pushed over the edge by Mr. Loader's antagonism. Now you see this? Here's all the people that give a fuck. I don't care. No one cares. You can't tip petrol on someone, you crazy. The Crown prosecutor also argued that Walpole had enough time to remove herself from the situation and calm down. I'd like to argue that she had enough time to remove herself from the situation and not pick up a petrol can and try to fucking end someone's existence possibly on this earth, allegedly. At what point is this attempted murder, guys? Is that just me? Am I crazy for saying that? When you get burnt, it's not so much the burning that kills you, although it's extremely painful from what I've heard and awful. It's the infection, right? Because the skin's such a massive barrier to bacteria and all that shit, staph and MRSA and all that business. When you burn off or the skin on a human body and expose the flesh underneath, they are extremely open to infection, and that's what kills a lot of burn victims. Walpole did say that she was very remorseful and wished that she could go back in time, and I imagine she does feel that way. And it was a stupid thing to do when she was drunk and all that type of shit. And so what do? Do we blame her and then we punish her for her life? Yes. Of course we fucking do. Not for a whole life, but at least she needs to learn a fucking lesson. You can't, obviously it's terrible you can't do that. That's crazy. I wonder if she was one of these young women that has heard for her entire life, she's mid-20s, that all men are pigs and we need to stop the patriarchy and do anything to stop it. I wonder if she's one of those people that heard that. She heard that and she took it a little bit too seriously. Maybe. Mr. Loader can no longer expose his skin to direct sunlight. His life has changed. His body struggles to regulate his heat after his sweat glands were entirely burnt off. This is his GoFundMe. The link is down below. Go and look after him if you can spare $5. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Toodle au revoir. Don't antagonize people with a lighter in their hand when they put petrol over your head. That's my one tip from this video. Goodbye.